We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
Let's start the show, shall we? I can go on forever, so let's just stop it.
It's the best song.
Yes, it is the best. I'm like, oh my God, it pushed me back to those days.
Right?
Yeah, so here, it's like, oh my God, I forgot the song. So, anyways,
so
this is
the
amazing interview we're gonna have today. I had to do a little research, believe it or not, Yvette, on the subject today, which is Moms Mabley. Even though I had seen her before, and I had seen so many documentaries about her, and I've seen other comedians talk about her a lot, and she was very she was very revered back in the days, and still until this day. She was.
As she should. Yeah.
She broke every mold, basically. So, without further ado, I'll give you Yvette Saunders today. She's going to talk about her one-woman show based on the life of comedian Moms Mabley. The name of the show is Notorious M.O.M.S, M-O-M-S. And it's going to be playing at the Complex starting in June the 8th, I believe.
Yes, at the Flight Theater. The Complex Flight Theater on June 8th is the very first date. And then there's the 16th, the 23rd, the 28th, and the 29th.
Cool. So I'm really excited about this show, actually, because I actually have seen, and I've seen so many shows last year, but none that touches on this comedian, and she's been underrated, and she's so, tell us about why inspired you to do a show. This is your first show, by the way, right, on the Fringe Festival.
Yes,
am I correct?
Yes. I've been in Los Angeles many years, and I come from pretty hardcore theater background. I went to NYU for theater, Tisch School of Arts, so theater is in my blood. I've always done it, as well as other genres of acting, film, and TV. But this is my first Fringe, and I'm like, why did I wait so long?
Right.
But I'm really excited. Yeah, like I feel like you have to kind of like just be open to your own timing, in the arts.
Mm-hmm.
And so how this happened, literally, most people kind of have ideas for this show like maybe a year in advance or 6 months at least, and mine came like in a dream, like Moms Mabley, and who. Okay, I knew who she was vaguely as a child growing up, just because of her iconic look. And if you kind of look her up, you can see, oh yeah, I kind of know who that is, or that kind of just downward playing kind of house coat and like a fisherman's hat, which Carol Burnett and all these people have kind of done later on. But I remember that image, right? And but she like came to me in a dream, I swear to you. And I woke up thinking about her, and I was like, I have to tell her story. And then I was like, no way, why me? And she was like, bitch, yes, you.
Bitch, you know why.
She's like, yeah, shoot me, you bitch. And I was like, okay, but I'm like the complete opposite of you. My voice is very high. I have kind of a breathy sound, and she's down here. She's very gravelly voice. And so, I saw it as a challenge as an actor. But then also as my research went along, I was like, wow, this lady is amazing and broke so many boundaries just and feelings, not only as a woman, but a black woman. And not only that, but as a comedian that actually pretty much invented stand-up comedy as we know it today, because she started out with the vaudeville times in the 20s and the 30s, but because she was black, so many artists of color had to do the Chitlin circuit, which was kind of like the black vaudeville, and the Apollo Theater is one of those theaters that stands today as being historic of that time. She would perform, kind of shows and kind of open for people like Cab Calloway and all of these really great performers at that time. And then eventually kind of developed this character of her own. She was like in her late 20s when she developed an old lady, and she said that it was actually her great-grandmother who partly raised her, who used to be a slave. so apparently her great-grandmother slave grandmother was hilarious because she took a lot of her characteristics and personalities as her own in this particular character that we know her as Moms. And she pretty much grew into the character until, her 80s. And she passed away in the 1970s. But through that time, she got really popular in the 60s and 70s with several albums and like Red Fox and Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, all these men, okay, Joan Rivers, Whoopi Goldberg, like they all have revered her as someone that needs to be kind of like, expressed as the person that, pretty much moved comedy forward as far as stand-up.
Right. No, and actually, I think Whoopi Goldberg, didn't she do a stand-up show in New York? I think she kind of did a little tribute, right?
Yes, in the 80s, and I remember when I was at NYU in school, like we would always watch several different performers, and I remember Whoopi in loving her show from the 80s, her one-woman show that she did several different characters. One of them was very similar to Moms Mabley, but she didn't say at the time it was Moms. Later she did with her documentary, which I didn't know she did a documentary. When Moms came to me in my dream, like, I had no idea Whoopi Goldberg was even associated or did a documentary. But when I did my research, I was like, oh, that's cool. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
pressure.
Right. I know, right? Well, not only Moms, but Whoopi, too, and Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy, and oh, my goodness, have to be.
Robin Williams, oh, fun,
Yeah, hello.
So, like, for me, it's like I was dreading it internally, but it was almost a force that I couldn't fight. And so I've just been developing it, and I really, truly just want to honor her and her memory and who she is for people that don't know, and also kind of bridge the gap, like with, the millennials and the younger generation, to know kind of where it came from, because she was actually a person that connected to the youth. Even at her time, more than like older people. The young people of the 70s, Vietnam War, all these things were happening. Martin Luther King was assassinated, Bobby Kennedy, she was, got really political later in her years. And the youth at that time connected with her comedy, and I feel like, what if she came back today? She would have something to say, you know.
Yes,
She's got a lot to talk about, baby. You know, sure.
Right.
So, oh, honey. So, but that's the thing. She was moms to everyone. She took care of all of her fellow artists and people. That's why she was known that way. But she also had a very tragic upbringing.
Yes.
You know, very tragic, which, you know, I'll probably reveal in the show if you come, hopefully. But I feel like behind a lot of the comedy is a story. And I'm just trying to kind of connect the connective tissues, as you know, I can only describe, to why she made the comedy that she did and said what she did, and you know, it was hilarious. And she was a feminist. She was a lesbian, which at that time she was completely out. She was completely out. She wore zoot suits, you know, in her daily life, you know, had girls in her arms.
Yeah, I was looking at some pictures of her, and I was like, wait, who's this guy? I kept saying, wait, this is not. No, when I was actually trying to get some pictures for the slideshow that you guys are seeing on the link. And so when I was looking at, you know, I type in Moms Mabley, and then this guy, this man came, and I was like, wait, who's this man? Who is this? And now that you mentioned that, I'm like, it was her. Oh, okay.
It was her.
Okay,
it was her.
Sense.
That's who she was as well. So she had this duality, but in a sense, she had, you know, she almost hid under characters. Which I just find very fascinating. And in a way, I'm doing the same thing because I work with a lot of comedians, you know, well-known comedians. I've worked with, like, Margaret Cho and, you know, people that, you know, are, like, really well-established and amazing comedians. And I'm like, how did this happen? How am I working with you? You know, I'm just an actress, comedic, but okay. And then, you know, and then I would often hear, oh, you should try stand-up. And I'm like, no, I'm terrified. No, not happening. And then it's so strange because, like, I'm literally being forced to do stand-up through the mom's character.
Yes.
Like, she's forcing me to do this. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
You're wearing these.
She's like, anytime, baby. You know, so I'm like, so I'm like,
you're trying to feel big pants. You're trying to feel big pants.
I mean, you know, I'm putting on her character, which she put on herself to tell a story that she might not have been able to tell as herself.
Right.
So it's very Twilight Zone for me. You know, and it's like the best part of theater that I can think of, like, of experiencing, is to be able to do something like this in this way, and to honor someone's life, and have the challenge as an actor to try to, you know, fill those shoes. I'll never be able to do that. I already know that, but I want to be able to at least give the love and spirit of who she is to others. That's really, I feel, my job is going to be.
Right.
So
it sounds like an awesome show already. I can't wait. and so again, this Notorious M.O.M.S is going to be once again at the Fly Theater, which is actually very nice. It's actually very intimate. It's upstairs. I've seen it actually. I was scouting theaters, and it looks pretty cool.
It's a great theater.
Very
intimate.
I
saw many others. I saw many others, and there was one that was more kind of like, it looked more like vaudeville, you know, and more for like music. And like, I'm like, but I chose the Flight, which I love, because even ground. It had, beautiful seats, but it was even with the audience. And I feel like that's who Moms was. She was with the people. She wasn't over the people. She was with the people. So she literally has been telling me which ones to do. Everything. It's just incredible.
So So my question is, did you basically study her pieces? Are you doing any of her pieces in the show? I don't want you to spoil anything, but is that how are you preparing yourself for the character?
Well, I mean, immediately once I was brave enough to admit that I was going to do this show, to myself, I completely just immersed myself in her albums. I'm a huge album fan. But I found some obscure ones, but I also, of course, listened to the stuff out there that anyone can see, and just like literally listen to her, comedy like at all times, so I could understand her and try to get in her skin. So, and so what I found over time was. In listening to her comedy, there were certain themes that stood out to me about her, and I decided to develop and write my own story about who she is and what she would say today, as well as addressing where she came from and why she does the comedy that she does. So it was just a lot of like immersing myself with her voice, her comedy, her sense of humor, which I got immediately. I think everyone can kind of, like they just loved her. Like it was just like she was almost self-deprecating. Like she was almost like this like. Understated, like, oh, it's just me, and but that was the beauty, is that she was able to get away with a lot of stuff. Like she could say so many things as this old lady, You're like, it's like, ooh, this old lady talking about, but okay, I don't like no old man. Okay, I like the young man. She liked her young man. She loved young men. Like that was just hilarious. It's like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
Funny. And at that time, it was very liberating for women. Like it was almost like talking about female sexuality and like what we like, what we don't like, which was not normal at that time. We really couldn't make any comment about our own sexuality as women. So for her, she found a way to talk about it freely through this character that was unassuming and lovable. And I think that's why everyone loved her. She had a top 2 single or so, I think, in the top 40s called Abraham, Martin, and John, and it's a gospel song, but it did really well because of her voice and her passion at that time, because I believe she was kind of dedicating it to Martin Luther King and to Bobby Kennedy that died, not too long after each other. So
right.
There's a
that's what the song is. That what the song's about? Okay, I didn't know what the song was about.
Yeah.
Until you just mentioned
well, I mean, the song is older. The song has been done by many people. Marvin Gaye, all these like gospel singers. Like anyone can do the song. It's like a gospel song, right? But like when she did it at that time, it was everyone was like they connected to it, and just because of her voice and her passion that she had, and it's like just this kind of almost sorrow and mourning in her heart that you could hear. So that'll definitely be in my play.
Yeah, of course. It does in the heart.
You know, I want to honor her comedy, obviously, and to do those aspects, but I also want to dive more into the inner person of who she is, and make people fall in love with her and maybe look into her a little bit more and just be inspired, you know, to do your own thing as well. Like, because, I mean, this is my first year, and I'm just grateful that I can, you know, have found some kind of courage to do it. So,
yeah, I commend you for that because it's your first performance, and you're setting the record, the bar pretty high for yourself, which is, it's actually pretty good. No, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because you know, last year, so when I did my show last year, and it was called the Oz Monologues, and it was a lot of work, a lot of makeup, a lot of costumes, a lot of changes, a lot of rehearsals, and we overdid it to some extent. And somebody said to us, and this person, I should not tell who she is, but she's very, very involved in the Fringe Festival. And she told us, like, you know what? For next year, why don't you just tone it down a little bit? Make it easier, right? Just you know, less actors, less production, less projection. Don't worry about. And we're like, no. Actually, now that we've done this, now that we took it upon ourselves to make all of this, and nobody was expecting that when they came to see our show. They were like, "What? This looks very good." So we're like, "No, we're gonna say the bar even higher next time." And so now, you know, even now we're rehearsing. We're already doing tech rehearsals as we speak. Last couple of weeks, because we want to make this show the best we can make it.
Oh my God, I'm jealous.
And I'm
so behind. Oh my God, I'm like freaking out.
Well, you're doing a solo show, but no, what I mean is, you know, it's what they taught me last year is don't do more than people expect from the Fringe Festival. And when they say that, I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna make it. You know, I'm gonna make more than they expect, because you normally go to a movie, you normally go see something, a theater or whatever, and you don't expect much. You don't expect to be wowed and surprised, because you don't want to be disappointed. So that was the point. It's like, no, you know what? I want you to come to the show. I want you to expect nothing, but come up with like, wow, that was, you know, the visuals, the costumes were amazing. The of course I wrote it, and I think I did a good job.
Wow, you wrote it too?
Yeah, I did actually write it, and I was really proud, because for me to go to the stage, it took for me forever to decide, because like yourself, I was like, well, it's my first time, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna hate it.
Well, I admire that. I really admire that. I mean, you know, to hear someone that's done it and you wrote it and everything, and this is kind of what I'm going through. And, you know, it's scary, you know, it's scary.
It is.
I mean, just like, you know, any performance, you know, I've done many different types of theater and plays, but it's always been by, you know, other playwrights, or, you know, I'm the actor, and I can fully just, you know, get myself into the character and like focus on that, which is usually my job. But this was kind of, you know, not only stepping outside of the box for myself, but like really kind of just creating this thing with a real person. I mean, that, you know, I know, like, there's people know who this woman is. People expect certain things about what they need to see from this woman, right? So a lot of people are already going to have expectations, like how I should look, how I should sound, da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, I'm going to do the best I can to honor her in that way, but you also have to say, okay, this is my story about her, and this is how I choose to present this beautiful person and her story. And so it's not about me getting up on stage and mimicking someone, okay? Because to be honest, men are much better than me at doing moms. Seriously, because her voice is so low,
right.
At certain points, but she would put it on and off, right? But like, so there were certain men that they were able to tap right into it because their voice is closer to like her character. But and I can get into her, but I have a different interpretation based on my instrument, my voice, who I am as her, and that's just as relevant, I believe, because it's more about the story and not just me mimicking and doing like I'm like what I'm being mom, like it's not just me recreating moms on stage. It's me talking about who she really is. That's really what I wanted to focus on, but then also having the aspects of music and the time she came up in. So there will be, spoiler, there might be some live music in there, maybe a soft shoe tap or two. But you never know with this show. So hopefully people are interested enough and will come out. Again, it's June 8th, June 16th, June 23rd, June 28th, and June 29th. And celebrate on May 1st. So
yeah, it's a weekend. So Saturday, Sunday. There's one on Friday, but for the most part, it's on the weekends. And it's,
okay.
Oh, you're doing mornings. So it's like in the morning, 11 a.m. in the morning. So that's actually great because you can start with your show. And then, for those that don't know, the Hollywood Fringe Festival is 400 shows. So, you want to start in the morning. You want to really start really early because by the time you get to the second or third show, you need a break in between. And so 11 a.m. is her show, so that will be a great start. And then from there, you can go to Complex, so they have a few theaters there. They have the Broadwater. They have lounge shows, so walking distance. Or you can go to the studio stage where I'm going to be at. And so it's a great festival.
Show. I can't wait.
Awesome.
I can't wait
I'm
so excited.
Can't wait for yours either.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yes.
It sounds great.
And by the way, I want to say happy birthday, Yvette. I know it's your birthday today, so
it is my
thank you for coming into my show. Yes, happy birthday to
420,
you.
baby, 420. What?
Yay.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I really like that. This is just a cool little kind of whipping on the top or cherry on the top, as they say, of my birthday. I had a nice day, and I'm just grateful to talk about my show, and hopefully, people will be interested. So, Fringe Fest 2019, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Yeah. It's gonna go so quickly you won't even realize it's over. But yeah, it's gonna be, and then after the whole festival's over, then you have the jet lag and you have the the withdrawals, and you're like, oh my God, that just happened. It goes very quickly, so you won't even realize it's like, I can't believe it's over. It is over.
And you're like, I have to do it again.
Yeah, it's very addicting. It gets you to, and hopefully, hopefully you get. Well, I won't tell you what you're gonna get because we're gonna wait, but who knows? That may take you to another Fringe Festival. You can end up in New York. You never know. So hopefully this show.
That's life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, do you have any shout outs you want to do? Any hashtags people want to follow? Anything you want to let people
totally. Yeah, I'm pretty chill, basic. You know, I mean, you can find a page on Facebook. It's under the Notorious M-O- not dash, but what is it? Dot.
Dot.
It's dot. It's dot. M.O.M.S, but not a dot after the S. Just for a reason.
Oh.
So the Notorious Moms on Facebook, or on my page on Instagram, which is Yvette Saunders officially, spelled Y as in yes, VETTESAUNDERS officially on Instagram. And there you can find all the ticket links and things like that. What else? You can go to my website, YvetteSaunders.com. I want to give a shout out to my director who I've worked with like forever. I did for Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough several times in production. J.C. Gafford. And yes, and then I also want to give a shout out to one of my producers and dear friends, John Stapleton, who also did the artwork for my poster. He's amazing. And then also a shout out to who. Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's it. I mean, it's just us kind of like creating this magic. So,
right.
No, but it'll be good. It'll be good. That's who I have for now. Oh yeah, Charlie Altuna, who will be helping with costumes and design for moms. Charlie Altuna.
Right.
What up?
People don't realize how many people it takes to make a one woman show. So people say, "Oh, this must be easy. It's just a one woman show or a one man show," but it's not just one person.
Hilarious. That's a joke.
It takes a team
in the show. Yeah, that's no. I mean, you need people to help. You know, even if they're like, "Hey, I'll be your front door girl." You know what I mean? Like, I'll take tickets. You know, like everyone counts, and it makes. You know, it's like everyone's important, and you know, for me, it's for the love of theater, labor of love. So that's why I'm doing it this year, and I hope everyone can come and see it.
I wish you nothing but good luck, and I'm sure that Moms is blessing you right now with all her comedic timing and wit, and I'm sure she's blessed you in that dream. You know, the funny thing about that dream, I had a similar story with George Harrison from the Beatles.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll tell you about it later.
Keep me updated.
Yes, I will.
Updated. I like.
But actually,
where this is going.
I've had a few encounters like that. So when you said that, I'm like,
yeah, and I always feel like I sound crazy, you know, when I say things like that.
No.
You know, because I'm like, oh, she spoke to me.
We probably are crazy, but whatever.
That's fine. I don't care. I already know I'm crazy. Who cares? But like. If I make the world better, like, does it matter? You know, in my own way. But, yeah, baby, you know, M.O.M. If you don't know who Moms is, turn it upside down. Wow. That's what she would say.
That's right. He does spell wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm putting all the information, by the way, whoever's listening. I'm putting your Facebook page on the link. I'm putting the anyways, your website is below, and also on May 1st, YvetteSaunders.com, and also the Hollywood Fringe Festival, the short link. I'm putting the short one. below.
Yes.
And on May 1st is when the tickets go on sale. And so please, 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 there's 5 shows to choose from, so don't delay. And it's going to be a great show. I'm sure it is going to be. But let's see what else I was going to say. Oh, and then I always forget to say this. So make sure to like Italo's Black Talk Radio fan page. I am trying to get 1 show or 2 shows, even 3 shows a week. But as we're getting closer to the festival, I'm getting 1 every day now. So you never
Very
know,
good.
but you have to keep up with who I'm talking to next. And tomorrow, I forget who I'm talking to. Drew Petriello. He's doing a show about this girlfriend in a coma situation, and she's trying to wake up from her anesthesia.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
deep.
interesting.
That's deep.
Actually,
Wow.
he's got 2 shows, so it's a double whammy. You had to cover 2 shows in one. I mean, 2 shows in 1 show.
Oh my God!
If that makes any sense.
Sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I have to give one last shout out.
Okay.
To Fernando Christopher, who's my choreographer. I forgot to say
Of
that.
course.
I can't believe it.
Oh yeah. He's doing Monkey Mind as well, right?
He's doing many
Monkey
shows.
Mind.
He's just exactly. He's a performer in that. He's also going to be choreographing, I believe, the Dogs, the musical. And then there's one more that I don't recall, but I think he's doing like 3 different shows, including mine. So, Fernando is a hot commodity within the Fringe Festival.
We might have to have him on the show.
hot commodity, yes. And he, I brought him along on my theater show for colored girls in Sasaki Shange's show as a choreographer, and he was nominated for an NAACP award, and that's a huge honor, and for him to be recognized for I was so happy, and I'm like a proud mama that way, I say it all the time. Did you know that he was anyway, Fernando, love you. Yeah, Fernando, love you. JC, Charlie, John, all of you that are helping with my show, thank you very much. So that's that.
Awesome. So we're gonna take out with a special request. Yvette requested this, and it's her birthday. So because it's your birthday, I'm gonna play Black Sheep again for you in the entirety. Okay, you have a great birthday. And here is Black Sheep with you too.
It's a Lowe's Blog Talk Radio.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.